There we go.
Hello, Cookie.
Alright, it's a beautiful bacon day, Cookie Crusaders. Hope everyone is doing good. I am getting everything ready to cover the new Alliance season with all of you guys. Alright, let's see. Hope everyone's having a good day. Okay. Yeah, so today is Season 3 of the new Alliance mode. And I want to go ahead and cover some of the team building that I've done for this mode. I did do a practice earlier today at 10 o'clock to see what was going on. So I apologize if you're not getting the first impressions from me, but we got some pretty interesting ones happening today from this new season. It's definitely built a lot differently than how the last season was. As far as I can confirm with my guild members, Wave 34 is the only first wave that you have to worry about shields. And so we're going to go through and see what we can accomplish with the teams that we built. And I'm going to explain those teams real quick. So Pure Vanilla, Cotton, Claire, Sea Fairy, Hollyberry. We've got damage redirection. We've got DPS unit from Sea Fairy. We've got the weakness debuffs from Claire, and then healing from our two rear supports. I have this as my current setup. If I could, I would have better cooldown on Pure Vanilla to make this even better, but for right now, the Solid Almond's going to do. And I have the Horn for extra defense so that the healing can just happen as much as it needs to, while Sea Fairy takes all the damage with the clock and the scroll. Second team is kind of a pseudo boss team. Reason being is that Strawberry Crepe provides the defense for the entire team, and the Cream Puff gives the option for some healing, not a lot, but some, as well as the ability to get a lot of area of effect damage on people, as well as Sorbet doing the area of effect for his skill, and then Squid Ink is just a lot of DPS damage as well. And then Dark Cacao, I'm actually running as a critical build for mass damage output, which he does pretty good at. And so these are the topping setups I have here, and that is kind of a reason I'm running critical, is to get Cream Puff and Dark Cacao as high hitting as possible with their critical strikes. Then we've got a speed comp team. This team, I do actually have critical jellies on Madeline. I found that Madeline has a really good damage output with critical jellies. Still needs to have further testing to really understand the true potential of it, but it's something very interesting. And then we've got Lilac, Frost Queen, Mint, and Pastry all running chocolates so that their abilities can fire as fast as possible to have the strongest and fastest speed comp team. Then we've got, this one's kind of a mishmash. I don't really know if it's going to 100% give synergies, because I couldn't think of too many good teams to put together here except this, because Pumpkin Pie being the extra bodies, Raspberry doing high single target damage, which Almond can actually spread out to multiple targets when the skill link happens if it's the same target. Cocoa gives that stun resistance if we run into that in any waves, which we will run into a couple. And then T-Knight for the sake of the buffs, and that's another reason I'm running the Remedy here, the new Epic Treasure, because I want T-Knight to get that healing and get that attack buff, as it should either be him or Pumpkin Pie. And then this is just a boss team. Anything that needs like some quick killing that are bosses, this is what this team's going to be mainly for. I can tell you that some of the bosses you will not necessarily expect, so let's go ahead and go into it. They have definitely put in different creatures and characters than the previous seasons, so be ready to see that. And I'll slow it down just for the beginning waves, since my stuff bypasses it for the blast ability. So the Goblin is the first major boss. And then we get to Wave 6, where we've got the Goblins. And as you can see, we're just pushing through with Sea Fairy, that stun, that massive damage, Hollyberry taking all the tanking, keeping everything pretty well. And then the shields that we get from Eclair every time we defeat the foes with weakness on it. And then our first big boss wave is Onion Cookie. So Onion, the longer that the skill takes to activate, the more fear is on Onion, the stronger the area of effect damage Onion can deal upon your cookies. So this isn't going to be a huge effect to me, just because of the lab upgrades and the bonds and everything else that I have. But as far as people that are in the lower tier levels, be ready for a lot of damage to come from Onion Cookie. And make sure you have a form of healing for that reason, if you don't have all of these cookies that I've listed in some of these teams. So if you can, just build a healing team to potentially at least get through Wave 8. But we're going to go ahead and cover further down. So, Wave 10, just the classic ice cream characters. They're not really a huge threat. Can be easily taken down, and as you can see, they have enemy HP up at 50%. So they're just a little bit chunkier. Nothing too dangerous, though. Alright. And then when we go to Wave 11, the frogs, yet again, not a lot of resistance from this, but it could be worse. Alright. Now, Wave 12, we've got the Sugar Swan as our next big boss. This is not really one I have to switch out teams for, so we're sticking with the main team for now. If you did not have high-level main team characters, though, switching to Team 5 would be an optimal option, just because they'd be able to go through this boss a little bit easier than some of the other teams. How much cookie research have I done? I have level 5 cookie research on every cookie, except the HP and defense for all cookies. I think I have some at level 7 and some at level 10. So quite a lot of research has been done on the cookie side to increase their power, but at least level 5 for all HP, HP 2s, attack 2s, and defense 2s. Took a lot of time. I think it took about month and a half, 2 months worth of going through, which you can use speed timers, but you need to have the gold and then of course the resources to get through it too. If you remember, Wave 15 here was about Wave 32 from Season 2, a little bit weaker in comparison to that wave. Right now the enemy attack speed is up, and we have gone to Regretful Alchemist. This boss is not terribly hard, does some really good damage. You'll see that Wave 20 is probably going to be what I think will be the hardest wave for most players, as the critical hits that boss can do is pretty insane. So that's coming up soon, and be ready for that. And as you can see, we're taking a lot of damage here, so we might need to change it up to have Sea Fairy have a more damage resistant kind of build. But yeah, Sea Fairy is our damage dealer, so that's why I'm running Sea Fairy here. We could run a couple others, maybe like a healer or another damage resistance like Strawberry Crepe if we really wanted to be very safe with our main team, but we do want to push through the waves as best as we can. So here's Wave 18, where now the buffs are our cookies have a higher cooldown of 30%. So it's going to take longer for our abilities to fire off. And you also have to think, if I didn't have that horn on, Sea Fairy probably would have perished in that last wave, because the damage coming from the enemy team is pretty substantial. And so it's good that I had extra defenses to keep the cookies alive. And that's why I'm running the horn. You can run things like the monocle and the staff and other things like that, but it's kind of situational of how they're going to work. And so we are almost to Wave 20, and I may actually end up switching out teams in Wave 20, just because the critical hits from this next boss is pretty powerful. Even when I was running a full healing team practicing against it, I beat it, but almost lost 3 cookies. The healing just kept me alive, but it was very close. So wave 20 I do personally think is going to be one of the big cruxes for most people. And so we're going to let them at least attack the Nightmare Alchemist just a couple times. And then his ability is going to fire off. And you can see Seafarer went way down. So I'm going to switch out to the boss team to try and get this removed as quick as possible. Hopefully we don't lose any cookie here. Okay, good. We're going to switch back to main team momentarily. And we should be good to heal and recover Seafarer during these waves. So there shouldn't be too much concern of losing her here. Plus I haven't used my revive that I have from guild perks, which you can get if you get all the artifacts in guild, or the relics, I apologize. And so we've gotten to wave 21, so we're doing okay. But we will definitely have more opposition coming up soon. The hard wave that comes after this, I would say would be the one that you'll see Werewolf in, because Werewolf is pretty strong in the wave defenses here. Very, very strong. But let's see how far we go. And so we've taken out wave 21. Now wave 23. Angel Cookie and Devil Cookie. An important note to take here is that Devil Cookie does reduce movement speed when the relic is going. So that is reducing how fast our cookies will move up if we have any knockback, which we do. And Angel Cookie is dealing a lot of healing on their side. And so we are fighting against healing and Devil Cookie's skills as well. And I'm really happy they put Devil Cookie in this season, because I wanted to see more of Devil Cookie. I think there's more to be explored there. So it's really cool that they put him in. But we've got Devil Cookie down. We got Angel Cookie down now. We're persisting through this wave, and we should be able to beat it momentarily. And slow waves like this are always great to use as a healing wave to heal some of your forces if you can. So that way, if maybe some of them are a little bit down and you can out-heal the damage they can do, might be a good time to switch in to heal your team so that way they have a chance to recover. Now we've got Blackberry Cookie. Blackberry does some pretty good damage here. So we need to be ready to switch in, which we will do now. Because I do not want to lose my main team to Blackberry. That would be really rough. And our critical damage there just absolutely smoked through Blackberry. And we did not have to lose any team, so that's good. Now we can switch back to the main team. And also, for each wave you clear without losing a full team, gets you extra bonus points in Alliance. So that's a really important thing to take note of as well. And we should be able to clear this round without too much problem. As you can see, we're definitely starting to take more damage. But we're doing okay. And I may have to run it where it's a healing treasure rather than a defensive treasure. So we'll see the difference. One of the big differences is that I don't have pure vanilla at chocolate and I have it almond. So the healing from almond is not happening as fast as it could be. And so that's an important thing to take note of as well. But we're handling wave 26. And as you can see, these waves are taking much longer than last season because of the extra health and the extra attack speed from the enemies. So that's why these waves are taking a little bit longer than the previous season. And so we are on to wave 27. I do believe this is where we start with Werewolf. And then I think it pushes us into the boss battle with Werewolf afterwards. Like the transformation version of him. And we're going to switch out, actually. To try and just eliminate him as quick as possible. Yeah, Werewolf took out my team. So let's not give him our main team here. Let's just go back here. And just try to eliminate Werewolf. As you can see, the damage output from Werewolf is pretty impressive. So And the transformation time lasts quite a while. We'll move back to main team though. I think Werewolf is another gatekeeping wave for lower level players. I think people have a lot of trouble at that wave. Here's the actual boss wave. It's wave 28. It's not nearly as hard as the Werewolf wave. So don't be too worried about this wave if you struggle on the Werewolf wave, because as you can see, we can do quite a good amount of damage here, and we're not really taking a lot of hits from this wave. So I wouldn't be too terribly scared of this wave, but it's the boss wave, so it is what it is. Now we're on to extra HP covered units, and as you can see, they have a shield. So one thing we can do here is we can actually shift over to this team, because Dark Cacao should be able to remove all of the shields. And we can deal damage a little bit quicker and get through their enemy forces. We will have to switch back though, because we are losing people. So we will come back to the main team, which should be able to handle now since they have no more shields. And then we will be moving on to wave 30. And my points would be higher now if I didn't get that boss team eliminated, so that was an unfortunate mistake, but those are things that I can refine and perfect for later runs. And now we've lost Seafaery, so I'm still iffy whether Seafaery will be in the final main team. I may do another damage dealer, such as Madeline, or maybe Dark Cacao. I'm still uncertain of who I want to run, because I want to make sure it's someone who can push out a lot of damage. So we will see which ends up being the best one, but I wanted to at least give you my first team impression of who I thought would be pretty helpful to get through most of these waves. They still got those shields going on them, but we're doing okay. We've got some good damage dealers, even though we've lost Seafaery. We're doing overall okay. And we still haven't even hit our speed comp team, which they should at least be able to deal some pretty hefty damage. The problem is with the speed comp team, there's no healers on that team, no healing treasures either. So once that team goes, they have to go really well. Otherwise, they just will not survive very long for that reason. But we are able to persist through this wave and get to wave 32. I'm almost sure we will. Got some fast attackers on that side. Yep, they did pretty good. That was a hard wave. I'll give them that. Alright. Kumio's wave on wave 32. So Kumio's got the charm, able to stun us, able to slow us down. I think we're actually going to switch to the speed team at this point to try and just absolutely blow through the enemy defenses. And see if we can. It's definitely a tough wave. Got some good hits, but we're going to have to switch back to main team in a moment. And we have to do it before we can get the bonus, so we've lost a few more bonus points because of that. So yeah, Kumio's a good wave here. This is another potential gatekeeping wave. And I'm sure I could beat this with some refinement of the teams. I think I'm going to have to change Seafaery to be someone else of a damage dealer. I don't think the speed comp team is providing enough help in these instances to be needed like it was needed in the first and second season. I could be wrong. There could be different ways further on that need it, but I think it might be better to push it to somebody else and divide out the team accordingly. So we did get past Kumio's wave, so that's good. Means it is doable. Alright, so here's the first shield wave at wave 33. So we need shield destroyers at that point, whether it be Twizzly, Affogato, or Dark Cacao. Alright. Yeah, of course, thanks for coming by, Lost Pastries. I appreciate you stopping by. I will work on refining this and figuring out what teams can do better, as I'm sure that there is something else that can run better than what I have here. But this was my first initial thoughts on the setup. Thanks for everyone who did stop by, and look out for what I find later and see what is the strongest setup to beat the Season 3 Alliance mode, or at least get as far as you can. Thank you so much for everyone stopping by.